And we're recording.
Oh my god, we're live.
We're live.
It's studio capacity. I don't usually start these. Oh, good evening, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages. If you're a child, you should totally not be watching us. It is
I think that is
Moonlighter.
definitely. I definitely think that is safe to say.
Yeah, definitely. If you're under the age of about 15, you should definitely be watching our content. Even though the only game we're actually playing at the moment is Wind Waker, so,
I don't
which
even
is a
know
three
what the.
plus.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is the age rating for Wind Waker?
Wind Waker, I think, is a three plus. I think most Zelda games
How
are
is it?
plus.
How is it a free plus? And if you think about like most of the game, you are killing things.
Yeah, because it's cartoon violence, isn't it? It's
True.
not, like there's no blood. You never ever see any like juicy death
Just
scenes.
yeah, like chop someone's head off and they just disappear.
Yeah, so yeah, it's because it's so cell shaded as well. I think it is a three plus game. Anyway,
Cool.
Arthur, and with me today is of course Ki Kumo.
Am I?
The
I'm here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe you're here. Yeah. Unfortunately, we weren't here last week, and that was purely because of me being an idiot. So apologies there. I think the difference in the episode though is we released the second episode last week anyway.
Yeah.
So there was a week gap in there somewhere, but we can't remember where. But we're
So
back today with a heap of news. We're going to cover a lot of things. But first of all, what have you been, Sky Kumo?
what? What have I been doing? What? I was not paying attention there. I was making funny faces.
Yeah, yeah, I saw you were basically taking the piss out of me. So thanks for that. What have you been up to in the last week or 2 weeks?
What have I been up to? I've been playing a bit more Wind Waker. That's new.
Woo! That is
Um,
new. We might eventually. You might actually hit episode 20.
yeah, I know. I've got 13 recorded so far, so that's pretty impressive considering I think 11 are uploaded to YouTube. A few are scheduled to be released throughout the week.
Nice.
12 is rendered, so 13 is to be rendered. So it's getting there. What else have I been up to? I downloaded Switch Online, or whatever it's called, the NES Online stuff.
Oh no, no, Nintendo Online. Oh. So I've actually worked out that it's just as a random thing, it's not actually Nintendo servers either.
Is it
So
not?
I thought that was quite funny.
Oh,
No,
because they're
it's not
using like
actually
Google as
Nintendo
well.
servers. Yeah, and it's mainly the games company servers that they're actually using. So I know for Monster Hunter, they're actually using more for people to be able to. So they just put a paid lock-in there.
That's fine.
So yeah,
I mean,
I guess.
I know it's. I don't really care who servers it is. At the end of the day, like it's a cheap subscription. It's gonna work. I get a few free games out of it. Like oh well.
Yeah,
I've got
I guess yeah.
you got to think I've got PlayStation Plus and I barely play PlayStation.
To be fair, what were the PlayStation Plus games this month? Because
I
they were
don't know.
fucking horrendous.
I forget.
I think
I
it was,
forget I download them. I forget to download them half the time.
Because last month we had Destiny 2, like the base copy for free, which I thought was fantastic, and we had God of War 3 HD
Yeah.
remastered, which is great. This month it's like that fucking Jason game that's buggy to shit. Yeah, one of the indie games on there is using UE4, and I'm actually really interested in. But you know, it was not a very appealing set of games this month.
So Friday.
Yeah, Laser League was the good one. Yeah, Laser League's the cool one, and Friday the 13th. But if you really look at it, they're both 20 quid games.
Yeah, they're not. There's no AAA title there.
Yeah, then you look at
Yeah.
fucking you get Destiny and God of War 3 remastered. Like there is a bit of a weird imbalance there that they need to kind of fix up on.
I don't know. I think. Oh well.
Yeah, like
I don't think you can complain too much.
I can't complain. It's free games. No, it's free games. It allows me to play with my friends online. But to be fair, the only reason I really have PlayStation Plus now is because they got, I think, a year and a half at a really good price, and that's the only reason I bought it in the first place.
I always both PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live. I always get as discount anyway. I normally pay about 30 quid for the year, so that's fine.
Yeah. So again, I think we complained enough about Nintendo last week. Well, last week's podcast. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna resist the temptation too much.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm trying to think what else I've done. Not much. Work. Oh, the other day I worked 14 hours in a straight day.
man, you're catching up to my days.
Yeah. Yeah. What else have I done? I actually don't know. It's like
Wow.
I get up to a lot of stuff. Not really.
He gets up to a lot of stuff.
Yeah. No, I
I
don't
mean,
know.
there's loads of different ways you can take that sentence. He gets up to a lot of stuff. He gets up to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, you know what I've done this week, Patrick?
I think you've done less than me.
Yeah, I basically I worked out that I've actually worked about 65 hours this week.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, it was good fun. It basically made me realize I've done at least, I think, out of all 5 days of working, I've done about a couple of 12-hour shifts in there. Purely because my main boss has been off. So I was like, oh, okay, let me cover his shift and my own shift, which is he starts at like 8 and I finish at 8. So I've been doing 12-hour shifts, which ain't fun.
Are you getting paid for
But
at least doing the whole 12 hours, or are you not?
no, I'm on a contract role, so it's like you come in at whatever time you finish, at whatever time you just get the job done. Well, to be fair, there's regulated hours, but it's like if you do extra, it's on you.
Yeah.
But I do. But again, like I get.
That's
So
the
I
same,
work
that's the same with me.
in marketing and sales, so yeah. So I get bonuses for doing things right.
I
So
don't.
it's always. Oh, see, I do. So
Just,
it's worth the extra few hours here and there. But in other news, and the reason why I couldn't do last week's podcast was because I was finishing off Spider-Man. I officially finished it this morning at I think 8:30. So good game. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm 81% out of the full 100.
that's not bad.
Yeah, so I don't know if I'm going to complete it 100%, purely because there is a few things in there that just don't appeal to me. So overall, the game is fantastic. There is always something to do in it, and I would rate it maybe an 8 out of 10, maybe a 9. I need to kind of fragment it a bit more and kind of really evaluate the game itself. But just as a straightforward review, if you have a PlayStation, I would really recommend it. The gameplay in it is fantastic. There's a few. It's really strange. It has quick time events in it, and I don't know if that's just a homage to the old Spider-Man games, where they always have their constant stupid like quick time events, but it wasn't really needed. And there's a few other bits and pieces where you can tell the game isn't really built for fighting a lot of dudes in a small space, so you can get ganged quite quickly. But besides that, overall, fantastic game. There's always something to do. I mean, like I know I'm in this position. It's very much that's what game I can think of as like an Assassin's Creed, like the Unity and the new ones. I can't even remember what the Egyptian one's called, but you have this like, oh, I can get 100% in this area if I do XYZ. And it's like the XYZ is just so tedious. It doesn't feel like it's worth it. It's like
tedious games get to me. That's why I never played anywhere past the first Assassin's Creed. Because that was probably the most tedious. I got to the point where I probably played I think I got like 80% of the story in Assassin's Creed, gave up. Never played another Assassin's Creed since then.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm 100%er. So in those games that are really easy to 100%.
Oh no, I'm not even saying I like 80% of all the objectives. I mean 80% of the story mode. It got so tedious, I gave up. I was like, no.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, no, one was rough for that. It was like, oh, you need to do these 3 tedious, monotonous things you've done everywhere else
over and over again.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, this is all optional stuff. It's dependent on you. Like for me, I've got 1 suit left to unlock, and then I've unlocked all the suits. All the gadgets I've basically finished. So it's like, oh right, to 100% this game, I need to defeat. I think there's so you get like crimes in each specific area of the city.
Yeah.
So you get like Queens. I don't think it's Queens. It's like Manhattan Financial District, the Harlem, and it's like, oh, you need to stop 5 guys doing this crime. You're like, okay, that's super easy. You do that. And as the game progresses, it comes up with another 5. You're like, okay, cool, beat those 5. And then near the end of the game, I think it's like a good 90% into the story, there's like something massive happens, and then suddenly you've got double the amount of crime to stop. And it's just like, okay, well, I've kind of done that already. Why would I want to do it again, just on a harder difficulty? It is fun, granted. But again, it's like, if I ever just wanted to chill and be Spider-Man, it will be a game I go back to and just complete. but I don't see myself going out my way at the moment
Yeah.
after just completing the story.
Yeah,
So
I think, like I said before, in one of the, I think it was in LTS one, whatever. I said it in one of our previous shows. It's like I will get Spider-Man. I will just wait until it's cheaper. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not.
I mean,
You can see like last few weeks. What have I done? I've played a bit of Wind Waker. I've played a bit of NES Online. What else have I done? Like I played like I was just busy, so I'm like,
yeah,
there's no point of me getting a brand new game right this minute.
yeah.
Although
No, I
there is
mean,
one game I
definitely,
kind of want to get, but I'm gonna hold off.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you want a game where you can just play for an hour or two, I definitely think Spider-Man's up there. Purely because you can just explore the city. I mean, now that I've completed it, it will probably be a game I just play during the weekdays where I just want to chill.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is good for that. I mean, you know, the I must admit, this suits the love that they put to that game, like the references, the suits themselves, the suitabilities. Like there's a suitability called quips, where you literally just tell the bad guys how bad they are at being bad guys, and it kills them, like it stuns them.
Okay.
So it's fantastic because it's like literally it's the animated cartoon like 90s cartoon suit that they've put in this game. So it's those kind of like really bad, like the one that I had the most common one I had was, you know, you guys are really get bad at being bad guys, and it just like it's
Oh
so bad. They're
wow,
like,
that's
wow.
such an old school Spider-Man joke.
Yeah, exactly. So you know, for that it is a fantastic game. But again, it is very much, the best way I can put it is very much Spider-Man 2 with HD graphics and a bit more twaddle.
Yeah.
But again, that's kind of how the industry's gone this week, so can't really complain there.
Yes.
Um,
Speaking of new games, did you pick up Tomb Raider?
Let me have a look. Well, I've literally got Spider-Man. Oh, hang on. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I was.
There's my copy of Tomb Raider.
That looks unopened.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to play it yet because I finished. I finished Spider-Man this morning, so the next one will be Tomb Raider.
So, also speaking on chances of not being able to do stuff, have you tested your Elgato yet?
Not yet. I've got it down to 3 games that I'm thinking about playing.
Just test it. At least test it.
I
Testing it
know.
works, dude. Like,
Okay, at this point, I'm more worried that the Elgato will make my laptop explode, purely because of how bad my laptop actually is. So I am waiting for a specific week to come up, where I have a bit of time, and have a fire extinguisher ready to make sure my laptop doesn't explode.
he's definitely stealing a fire extinguisher from the office.
Yeah, definitely. You know, again, there's a few last minute things I need to get done, mainly at work and in my actual life, for me to be able to record a bit more. But once that's all sorted, I'll be testing like crazy. I'll be doing 3 pilot episodes actually, kind of see where the interest lies. And there's like 3 people who watch us. Yes.
Pilot episodes. What's it? What is this thing? I'm like, nah. If I'm gonna. I told you one of my reasons why I'm doing Let's Plays. I want to play Wind Waker. I want to play through it. So
Yeah,
let
again,
me, like...
yeah, there's 3 games I want to play at the moment. So, you know, depending, again, it's mainly so obviously for me to test the Elgato, I'm testing it on each of the consoles that I currently own. So it'll be 360, PS4, Switch, and then seeing how well it records on each. So, well, I don't even know how it works with the Switch purely because of how the HDMI system works with the plug in and play.
Yeah,
it always sounds so dirty. Plug in and play.
I need to get my my Black Magic up and running again. It's not been working for a while. I've been talking to Black Magic support, but I didn't realise they were like, oh yeah, can you provide a proof of purchase? So I was like, okay. Logged into my Amazon account, looked at when I purchased it, and I was like, holy crap, it was 2011. I've had this thing for 7 years.
Yeah, it's basically the first thing we used to start. Like,
yeah, I was like, oh my
insane.
god, no, because that was not the first one. I had another Black Magic before. I had the one that was built into the PC. So I
the one that's now in my PC currently.
Huh?
The one that's now in my PC currently.
Oh yeah, that's what happened to it. Yes.
Yeah, it's still in my PC.
Yeah, it's a good. It's not a bad little capture card. The only downside to it is just they just don't do 1080/60. But the difference is we were talking, like, look at it. That I had that one previously. I mean, like I said, I got this one 7 years ago, so that was probably a good year or so before that.
Yeah.
So like that's an 8-year-old graphics, not graphics card, capture card, and it's still like 1080p 60 was no problem, 1080i 60 was no problem.
Hmm.
I think your one also has the good thing about it. It's got the ports to like you can get an adapter so you can plug in analog, and record analog.
Not too sure. I'll have to double check that.
Yeah,
But...
because that's one of the things I want to get the shuttle working is because it's got component, it's got composite, it's got S video. So I'm like, this is great for like trying to record some of my retro stuff. What I'm using now is only got HDMI, so
Yeah, I think there's like if you wanted to record in 64, good luck on that.
yeah, I'd have to use a like upscaler and all that. But hey ho.
Well, yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, that's basically what we've been up to this week. I will probably be playing Tomb Raider tonight. To be fair, after we finish recording. So get ready for my review on that next week, and it'll be like, oh my god, the new Tomb Raider is so good.
He's gonna say this every week. Whatever new game he gets, oh my god, it's the best game ever.
Oh my god, the best game ever.
Oh
No,
my
to be fair,
God.
I do judge. As someone who's done a games designer, I do have a found appreciation for people who go into the industry. So
Yeah.
I probably do value games a lot higher than some people, unless they're absolute trouble, which basically just tells me it's a lazy team or a very well underfunded team. But yeah, again, I can see the flaws with Spider-Man, but I'll probably do. Tell you what, I'll do an Elgato test on Spider-Man, and if I have any decent footage, I will do a review video, for the 5 people who watch our stuff.
That'd be interesting. I would like to see a review video from you from Spider-Man. I actually genuinely would actually watch that. Obviously, I would watch all the videos anyway, but
yeah, like we are obligated to watch each other's content. But,
yeah, we're not technically, but there is no.
I mean, I just
obligation.
I just put Wind Waker on my phone before I go to bed and just let it play all the episodes.
Yeah. We watchy stuff. No, I mean,
Yeah.
To be fair,
I
end up,
multiplayer.
yeah. To be fair, I've ended up watching most of my LP, like most of my episodes of Wind Waker multiple times. One when editing it, one when it's like fully uploaded. I'll rewatch it just to make sure things are fine and I'm happy with it. Plus, I kind of find some of the shit I say funny.
Yeah. So the 5 views on each of the videos, that all 5 are actually Patrick.
No, my first view's offline before it's uploaded. I had 1 view when it's online.
Oh, okay. So 4 views are me then.
Yeah, although there was a we got a comment on one of the videos.
Oh my god, was it like, oh my god, you guys are so bad? Why
No,
are you
it was
doing?
just I don't know. I don't know if it's a real account or not, but it was just like nice, heart mark. But then I look.
Oh,
at,
I saw that person. Yeah.
And then I look at the picture of the account, and then the account, I'm like,
Okay.
okay. It's a bit questionable, but
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, I ain't gonna subscribe.
Okay.
They didn't subscribe to me. I didn't subscribe back. They just commented.
I love how the only person who subscribed recently is me.
No, there was someone else.
Yeah.
It's just not showing there. There was someone else before you.
Oh, yay!
So,
Well, here's to new subscribers who aren't me.
okay. In discussion, there's a comment 1 week ago.
Lol.
I have no idea who that is.
There's gonna be another one of those. Oh. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, those 2 videos tell me everything I need to know.
Yeah. I don't care.
Yeah.
Don't really care
Right.
if people want to watch videos. People want to watch videos.
Yeah. Okay. We're not doing it for that. We're doing it mainly to watch each other's content. To be fair, which I've been very bad at doing. So
yeah, we'll catch up.
we'll see. We'll see. So I actually, funnily enough, because I was watching our Moonlighter Kumo content of your Let's Play so far that you've done a Wind Waker. I was watching episode 8 and I fell asleep and I woke up to just random video of someone else. So I was just like, I'm pretty sure I started with Moonlighter Kumo. How did I end up here? Which was really strange. So
Yeah, I've done that one, like watching YouTube stuff before. I've fallen asleep watching something, woke up, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, you're like in a completely different part of YouTube. Like, there've been times where I've been watching someone play Dark Souls and I end up on a Dark Souls lore video about how the anus of a dragon lord is super important, the centrifuge of the main story. I'm like, okay, my phone went to weird places. My phone's interested. I guess I have to be too. But yeah, so yeah, so that's basically what I've done, and yeah, we shall see what comes up with it. So,
but yeah, I like I said, because you said it, I want to see a Spooderman review video from you.
Which one is a 30-second video of me just going, "It's good."
That's
play
fine.
the game, and that's it.
It's still video.
That's it. Yeah. Literally.
As long
30-second
as
reviews
it's
of
got,
like,
as long as
it's
it's got
good.
gameplay by you, as long as it's got gameplay by you, comments by you, and it's got a review by you, done. That's fine. It's a video.
That's it. All right, cool. I'm gonna do a 10-second review because that's all my computer can handle before it explodes.
All right, cool. Next topic.
Yeah.
So something I added to the list the other week was microtransactions and loot boxes in games. Just wanted to get your thoughts about it, have a little conversation about it, especially with all the controversy that's going on at the moment.
Yeah, because was it Denmark recently said that you couldn't have microtransactions in your video games?
Belgium, I believe.
Belgium. I knew it was one of. I knew it was like Northern Europe, because they've.
I think they actually specify it's not microtransactions; it's actually loot boxes.
No, it's loot boxes specifically, purely because it falls under gambling.
Yeah, it's Belgium.
It's Belgium, yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with them. I think having loot boxes is fine. I think, to be honest, for me, loot boxes really took off was because of Overwatch. I think they kind of really popularized the genre of having loot boxes in your game. Like they've been around, probably, but I feel like
I don't know because when was I don't know why I was writing that, but when did Overwatch come out? And Overwatch was
3 years ago.
Yeah,
years
so
ago,
I mean.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
So you think about that, but you compare it to games like FIFA. FIFA's been doing like the loot box kind of idea with FIFA Ultimate Teams for quite a while now, and FIFA.
But I feel like
I'm
not saying like Overwatch created the system. I'm saying I think Overwatch was the one where everyone saw that mass popularity of how successful loot boxes could be. And I mean, the one thing that I appreciate about, because again, for me, Overwatch was the one that I noticed. And then soon after I played Overwatch, I saw a lot of games following suit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I saw it kind of take off. And the one thing I noticed that really upset me was, was how certain game companies would use it to utilize or like enhance a player or enhance a gamer's enjoyment of the game to the detriment of others. Whereas Overwatch found this happy balance of, it's only cosmetic. It's nothing to do with your gameplay or anything like that. And then it wasn't LucasArts, it was EA did the Star Wars Battlefront loot boxes where it would actually enhance the player's abilities. And I thought that's unfair because that's saying our game is pay to win. Like you're paying the 40, 60 quid, whatever, to play the game. And then if you want to be the best, you don't have to buy it. Otherwise you have to clock it like 200 hours.
That's basically where that's basically what EA's philosophy of loot boxes are. Like even with FIFA, they are pretty much FIFA do it in FIFA Ultimate Team. So basically, it's the whole idea is it's kind of like you start the game, you get a bunch of random players. You can earn in-game currency by playing games, winning matches, etc. to buy more packs, which have potentially better players in them. But again, it's random. So you can get some of the best players in the world to like really crappy players. But so it's that kind of pay to win. If you buy FIFA, you go, all right, great, open up Ultimate Team. Put in 50 quid, you're probably going to start out with a really good good team. You could probably pay less, but if you wanted to carry on spending, you can actually end up with, because you're gambling, and you can end up with some of the best players in the world and have one of the best teams in a game. And they've been getting away with that for years.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just...
Yeah, it kind of got away with in FIFA because of just how it is and that type of game. And I don't think the community's ever cared. Most of the community's actually been like, no, it's fine. We'll spend the money when we want.
I mean, so this is the thing. It's because if you look at Hearthstone, it's the same concept, and no one's really cared about that either. Like you can buy the cards or you can unlock them in game. It's I don't know. I think my issue with certain games doing it is one, the cost, and two, what you're getting out of it. Like if there's going to be I think Fortnite does it, but again, Fortnite is very much all about the cosmetics. Is the bronze pack or the silver pack or the platinum edition, and that will affect the loot you'll get from these packs. Again, this is based on the original Fortnite, not the Battle Royale mode. So that in that instance, if you're paying for a higher chance of getting something, I don't agree with it either. But again, if it's purely cosmetic, well, I guess in the original Fortnite, it's not cosmetic, but again, it's not affecting multiplayer too much. Um, Not in the sense of like the battle royale mode of
Yeah,
what would. But again, like any game that has, again, it's like for me, it's a case of understanding, and this is again part of that studying games for so long. You have to understand that paying 60 quid for a game is not worthwhile in a games development world anymore. You're spending 3 to 5 years, if you're lucky, and sometimes a year developing a new game, and that 60 quid from maybe 500,000 people is still a lot of money. But then you have to think about, well, you've seen the end credit screens of games. You have to
yeah,
think
the
about
amount of people.
all the
Yeah,
people. Yeah, like all the people involved. So you've got the developers, the designers, the writers, animators, producers. The list goes on and on.
yeah,
And you have to think, even researchers have to be paid and invested in that project. So when you do the final calculations, even advertising and publishing, has to come into cost, and companies aren't making money back. And that's where, for instance, we get these microtransactions, where we get these loot boxes, where we get DLC. Even though some people, like certain games, I do think DLC should be included.
yeah.
The biggest example of, and this is when I kind of went off Assassin's Creed, was Unity. You could very much tell that the first DLC of that game, which I got for free because it was a buggy mess,
Yeah.
was the original ending of that game, and they had just chopped it off. And that I was not impressed by.
Yeah, so like, like for me in DLC, the way I see it is DLC should never, if it's available from day one of the release date of the game, shouldn't be DLC. Should be part of the game, as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned. If
Hmm.
it affects the progression of the main story of the game, it
Hmm.
shouldn't be DLC. It should be part of the game.
Yeah.
If it's additional level side stories, fine, DLC.
Hmm. Yeah.
Multiplayer maps, great. Like I've spent money on DLC in the past. I buy DLC for games, no problem with that. But
Hmm.
like I said, when it comes to the main story, unless it's a new story that wasn't ready as part of the main game, or it's an extension of the main story, that they're like, here's the main story, great. If you get the next game, you don't actually need this like DLC part of the story to know what's going on. But if you go into like,
What's going on?
if you go
Yeah.
to the next game and you go, wait, what the hell's happened? And they had to try and fill you in, then like because you didn't have that DLC, then
Yeah.
that's not right. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I think one of my favorite games that have done DLC was probably FF15. So they had individual episodes of characters, like literally in the game. It's like a 4-man, literally 4 dudes on a bachelor party, kind of essence, trying to save the world eventually. And each of the main characters kind of goes off on their own for a bit. It's never fully explained why they disappear, but they just come back stronger. And then they release DLCs for each of the characters
Yeah.
based on like what actually happened on them. Most people don't really care. I was pretty interested in what happens in those characters, and again, they rebuilt. They redesigned the characters to fit this, this new structure. So literally the characters were, you couldn't play as them individually.
yeah,
Once they released all the DLCs, you could actually play as them each individually in the main game as well, which I thought was a really nice touch. And they added unique abilities, they added new content, and created a much more interesting understanding of each of those characters from the DLC. But again, it very much felt like it should have been part of the main game. I just knew due to development times on that game, like they spent way too much time on that game, and they should have done. But again,
yeah. It's a Final Fantasy game. You do realize I think Final Fantasy 15 was in production for 10 years. I think it was.
yeah, like in the end, what they finished with was not great.
Yeah, because the thing
And-
is, because I know with that development cycle, and it's not the first Final Fantasy to do it, they make it as one game, and they kind of scrap it a few years in, like,
yeah.
and then they just end up doing it like things again. They're very, a lot of their like teams and directors there are kind of peculiar about how they do it. So, like for example, the Final Fantasy 17, Final Fantasy 7 remake. Yeah, we're still going to be a long way from that because I can't remember when was that announced. Do you know?
Oh, I saw it on Steam a while back. I think episode 1's come out because they said it was going to be episodic.
Yeah, so it was officially announced by Square Enix back in 2015. I think I just saw. I genuinely don't think, knowing Square Enix and their development cycle of Final Fantasy games, we are going to see a game like that until probably 2025, maybe 2023 at earliest.
Hmm.
Like I said, they showed a clip in 2015, over 3 years ago, and they've still not done. They've still not shown anything further. They're still
Yeah.
hiring. I know this recently. They're still hiring for some senior developers there. In the team, they've still not like. They just it's still early stages. They've got so much work they want to do. They want to make that game perfect, and that's how they treat all their games. So Final Fantasy development life cycles are just probably, I don't know, they're different to most people.
Yeah.
Cause,
I mean, if you got the time to spare, then go for it.
yeah, because when you compare it to, I think it was Owlboy, which was developed by a solo person, pretty much, and he spent 9 years developing Owlboy, and look how much that's kicked off. And that was by a solo person. That makes sense. One person making a complete game. Fair enough if it took you 9 years. And he's probably doing other work. He's got a job. Square Enix, it's 10 years. It's fine. We'll spend how much money that they don't want to tell anyone. But hey,
Yeah, I mean, be interesting to see. But again, DLC for me, it kind of finds a microtransaction, and I think that's how the new gaming laws are seeing them now. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes from now. Because I know a lot of people want to get microtransactions removed. Loot boxes definitely. Because again, it is a form of gambling. Like, I don't personally, if I had a child who was of 12 to 15 years of age, I wouldn't want them playing games with loot boxes in them. Purely because again, it is a form of gambling.
yeah. But the problem is so many have them now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even for me, like Overwatch.
But I mean, that's why Fortnite's free, because that's how they make their money.
Yeah, it's purely through microtransactions and loot boxes. Does the Battle Royale mode have loot boxes? I'm trying to think, because I know it has microtransactions, but I don't know if it has loot boxes.
I think it's just microtransactions for
because it's for V-Bucks.
Yeah, but I mean, put it like this: I was watching. There's a YouTuber I watch called I don't know if you heard of him, called My Mate Vince. He does a bunch of hardware repairs. So he'll buy a broken Switch off eBay. He's no idea he's an amateur, and he'll just attempt to fix it. And he's bought other random stuff, toys, electronics. He's just really into it. He's growing, the channel's growing quite a bit recently. But he did this challenge with his kid. Child's about 12 years old, something like that, and he converted his Xbox signal into RF and played it on a portable TV. So he had a little tiny black and white portable TV that had to play it on, and he went, okay, if you finish in top 50, top 10, etc., you get X amount of money. And if you got top 1, he won 250 quid. Top 10 was 100 quid and stuff like that. Kid got to top 10, but to be fair, he hid in the bush for a lot of the game.
As you would with crappy screen size.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, it was a 4-inch screen. It was tiny and it was black and white. But he got a few kills from it. He wasn't just hid the whole game. He actually played. But yeah, he got 100 quid from it, and he was like, "Oh, what are you going to spend it on?" And the kid was V-Bucks for Fortnite. He was like, "Oh, for God's sake." Because he said at the beginning, he was like, "Look, you'll win this money, and whatever you get, whatever money you get, you can spend on whatever you want."
Yeah.
Yeah. But that just shows you that's the kids, they just want to spend on that. I don't know what else. Yeah. But I mean, so okay, it's a free to play game. This kid's just wanting to go spend £100 on it. He's probably spent other money on it in the past. I think they're kind of winning there.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the new game model that works. It's become very successful. It's become very popular, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
No.
And again, it works for developers. It's making money on a game that's already finished, so it's just pure profit. Even Pokemon Go recently just hit its $2 billion in profit.
Yeah.
Since the game launched.
But to be fair, that's Pokemon Company. They just make silly money anyway. Nintendo makes silly money. I did you know how much money Nintendo have in the bank?
I know it's something ridiculous purely because they could accept the downfall of the Wii U and still be okay.
Yeah, I was reading. I didn't realize this, but I was reading an article. It was a few years old. Basically, Nintendo as a company can stop selling all products completely cease all sales and still run with their current staff, current expenditure for 40 years.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
again,
just right off. They've got $10 billion in the bank.
yeah, I mean, but this is the other thing. It's like, and this is my funniest thing that people always bring up. It's like, oh, Nintendo's not as good as PlayStation or Xbox. It's like, well, yeah, but you also have to consider that Nintendo is the only one out of the three, like the big three, that isn't part of another company. Like Nintendo is purely a games company. Like PlayStation is owned by Sony, Xbox is owned by Microsoft. You know, if Microsoft goes down, you've lost Xbox. If Sony goes down, you've
Or
lost
at the
PlayStation.
same token, if Sony, like, if the PlayStation wasn't, for whatever reason, wasn't profitable, to, like, they didn't see it for being profitable for the next, like, short term, Sony would just go, oh well, bye. Like,
Yeah,
they've
because-
they've killed off the handheld market. Like, Vita's dead now. Sony's showing no interest in having another handheld. It's the same with, like, Microsoft. Microsoft are a bit different in the sense of they've messed Windows up every now and then, and they still do it because they know they can mess up an iteration and come back. But I think Sony would be a bit harder on that, a bit of different size and company. Whereas Nintendo are like, now we'll make something fun. If it does well, yeah. I mean, they took a massive gamble on the Switch. It's paid off. Took a massive gamble on the Wii U. It didn't pay off. Took a massive gamble on the Wii. Paid off. Everything is a massive gamble with them.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's quite funny now because you can genuinely you think whatever the next console Nintendo releases will be shit. Purely going from what the current console life cycle is for them. Like, if you look back on it, it's like 64, fantastic. GameCube, shit. Wii, fantastic. Wii U, shit. Switch, fantastic. So, going from what they're currently at the moment, like, their next console will be bad. Which I find quite funny. Like, just look at, like, they've never had two iterations of the same console do well.
Oh,
whereas,
didn't the NES and SNES?
Oh my god, we're talking like 90s here. Come on now. Like, come on.
You got to think NES, SNES, N64.
Yeah, alright.
So three iterations in a row. I mean, GameCube didn't do too bad. It was a bit of a different market.
It had 102 games published for it by the end of its life cycle.
Yeah. Was the game library
Like, it's the same. Yeah, the game library was about 102 games, I think, on final, or 110. I want to say around 110 games. What was the final count?
I can't be right. I mean, that's probably going to be European, but
No.
worldwide,
I think it was like 110 games.
There's no way that's global. No way that's global number. 658 games on this list.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where you got 100 from.
I'm pretty sure that was like purely exclusive for the cube.
Oh, so yeah, that's every game, but okay, purely exclusive. So, but that's not like, that's still a decent percentage.
That's 1/7.
Yeah.
1/6. Yeah. But again, it's like, you know, all the games that are coming out for the Switch now are Wii U consoles. Like Wii U games, they're just rehashed for the Switch with all the DLC attached. Like that's what I've noticed. Like what is it? The big ones.
Yeah, but I think they've kind of run like the end of line of how many games they're going to port across. I don't think they're going to port any more. Like for example, they're not going to port like Super Mario Maker.
That would be surprising. I'm really surprised by that they haven't done that.
I think it's to do with the lack. For example, Super Mario Maker. I mean, I've not played it, but I know it's reliance on the touchpad as well as the TV. So you need both. Where you can't do that on the Switch. It's one or the other. You either have the handheld mode with the touchpad, or you've got the TV. So you can't do. Like, I think that's where the complexity of that is. I think what they'll end up doing is they'll just make a Super Mario Maker 2 for the Switch. That makes it'll be easier than trying to figure out the complexities of moving the two across.
See, if they did a Super Mario Maker for 3D Marios, I'd be so on that. like, oh, sweet, you can finally make my own Mario game. To be fair, I'm surprised they haven't done that yet, but I guess that could be for the Switch.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the Switch is flying in money, so the amount of games coming into indies love the Switch because their games are going crazy.
Look at Dead Cells. Dead Cells is like skyrocketed in sales.
But I mean, Celeste, Owlboy, Dead Cells, God knows how many other indie games have just skyrocketed. Some of these games were on PlayStation, were on Xbox, were on like Windows, on Steam, and they were just like, Switch. Wham.
I think Moonlighter's on the Switch as well, which might be the first game I should technically play.
Yeah, you should LP Moonlight. That's where he clearly stole his name from.
Yeah, clearly didn't have it years before.
um,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm trying to think of what's coming out this for the upcoming period. I
So
know,
uh,
I know the big one will be Red Dead, and that's end of the month.
yeah,
Um,
you got Super Mario. You got Super Mario Party at the or on the 5th, I believe. That's coming up soon.
5th of October. Nice,
Um,
nice. Hmm.
so yeah, Super Mario Bros. Not Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Party 5th of October. Actually, that's the game I mentioned earlier that I kind of want.
Hmm.
I've always liked
Odyssey's
Mario
announced
Party.
for October as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
no Odyssey's been announced. For... That's so strange because obviously we didn't have an Assassin's Creed last year, so it's nice to see it come back.
Yeah. So Mario Man
But...
11 is officially released in a couple of days.
Oh,
2nd of
nice,
October.
nice.
WWE 2K19.
Oh, God,
There's no Switch release date there.
no, no, I doubt there would be.
Um,
Forza might be coming to
yeah.
PC as well. Yeah.
Oh, I think it will do. What else? Space Hulk. What the hell's Space Hulk? I'm assuming that's got nothing to do with.
That sounds like a Warhammer game.
I'm assuming that's got nothing to do with.
Yeah, it looks
Hulk.
like a Warhammer game. It is
Yeah.
a Warhammer game. Yeah.
Oh, I wanted a. I wanted
Tactical
Hulk. I wanted
Warhammer.
Hulk in space.
Oh my god! So I completely forgot. I saw this on Instagram and I got so hyped, and then I looked at the game and I got so upset. There's a new Witcher game coming.
Oh yeah, I saw. I did see about that.
Yeah, it was advertised on Instagram. I was like, oh my god, like because it's just one of those quick trailers of like coming soon. It's like, oh my god, I need to look into this. So I went on the Witcher website, like CD Projekt Red's website about the game, and lo and behold, my fear and sadness when I realized it's going to be an RTS, like Eye of the Sky game with nothing to do with The Witcher. It's just in the franchise. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, this isn't what I wanted. I'm going to be upset again now because you're thinking like, oh yeah, they were doing what was it, Cyberpunk 2044?
Yeah.
Which is probably the announced date for that game, actually, looking at how big it's going to be. But yeah, I saw that. I was like, okay, cool. There's not going to be a new Witcher game. As soon as I saw that, I was like, yes, new Witcher. And then, no, it's not a new Witcher. It's a spin-off game. But I know there's supposed to be like the 3D fighters, like the JRPG, like the Japanese 2D fighters are taking off again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no,
a few of them started picking up. Don't know the
yeah,
names,
because
but I know Dragon Ball
Black
Fighters.
Clover.
Yeah, Dragon Ball
Yeah,
Fighters has just come out on the Switch. That game,
yeah.
I don't know. I've always been a bit I'm not a massive 2D fighter like fan. I have enjoyed I do enjoy playing a bit of Street Fighter here and there. I've enjoyed playing other games in the past. Probably a bit more Marvel versus Capcom. They were probably one of my more enjoyable
I'm
games.
pretty sure if it's DB Fighters, it might be the 3D one, but I'm not too sure on that.
What DB Fighters? It's 3D, but it's 2D style in the sense of it is still battled in a 2D arena. So it's like that side
Is that? I
action.
thought it was in a. Oh,
No,
I thought it was the one on the 3D plane.
no.
Which one am I thinking of?
What Dragon Ball one? So Dragon Ball Fighters
Yeah.
is relatively recent. Even on the other consoles, it's only a couple months old. Or
Yeah, I think
a
that's
couple
the one
months
I've
old,
seen.
released in January.
Jesus, God,
Um,
wait a second.
But yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. It wasn't Budokai because that was kind of a 2D fighter, I believe. It was the games after that. It was the ones like the previous gen ones. Let's have a quick look. Super Budokai, Gaidens.
Trying to think. There's quite a few different animes that are coming out with Anfac games because I know Black Clover is one of them,
Yeah,
and then you've also got Boku no Hero Academia, My Hero Academia
yeah.
is getting its own one as well, which both look fantastic. I need to pre-order because I think one of my favorite characters is one of the characters in the pre-order, so I'm really annoyed about that.
Then you got SNK heroines.
Oh god.
So that's actually meant
God.
to be not too bad of a game. I was actually watching a review about it. Like
It's
if you
so moe.
yeah, if you kind of overlook that part, it's actually meant to be not a too bad game.
Overlook jiggle physics. How could I possibly?
So yeah, that's not.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. Is that Naruto? It's just
Oh
one
yeah.
come out.
Yeah. No. It's Boruto. It's Naruto to Boruto.
Yeah, it's Naruto to Boruto, but it's still a Naruto game because that's the first name in the title. So It's not a Boruto game. It's a Naruto game.
Yeah, but the main story is going to be about
Boruto. Yeah.
how, yeah, how Daddy trained his son to be well. Hang on, if I got this right, going for someone who reviewed Boruto for me, it's Dad is too busy to look after own son, so gave to the emo uncle, aka Sasuke, to train his own son.
Yep, that's
Which
the anime.
sounds about right. Yeah, that's
Oh, to be
cool.
fair, in the anime,
Right.
he doesn't actually hand him over to
But
Sasuke. Like, to be fair, in the anime, he doesn't hand him to Sasuke.
so it'll be
Boruto actually seeks out Sasuke after a couple of encounters and actually goes, "I want you to be my teacher," because my dad's a dick. He's too busy for me. Like, you're completely different from him. You're cool.
yeah.
Basically,
You're not my real dad.
he's like, you're this cool badass person that can just like go around, does what he wants, be a real ninja, beat people up. And my dad's a pencil pusher. That's what he's kind of gone for.
Which is hilarious considering it was the like Naruto is like probably the most powerful person in the village,
Yeah.
which is great.
So yeah, it's kind of funny.
Anyway. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, in sadder news, obviously we had Telltale Games have to announce recently that they've stopped. I think they're trying to sell the Walking Dead IP to do episodes 3 and 4.
So they've not made that completely clear what they're doing. They've said there's been they basically, I think their statement basically said there's partners interested in doing something to release for episodes 3 and 4 in some way, shape, or form. They've not actually said
just in
what.
case.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just in case you've lived under a rock, Telltale have just announced. Well, they haven't just announced it; they announced it a few weeks back. It was brand new news to us, like when we're supposed to record this. But they've literally just said that they're going under. They've really removed the majority of their staff. There's a really nice, and this is one of the things I've really loved about the gaming community. There's a massive push from all the games industries to try and help them find new jobs. Because obviously it was mass redundancies.
It wasn't. It wasn't even
so-
redundancy. Redundancy implies severance.
Well, yeah.
That's why. Did you hear about there's a mass action lawsuit against them by their
Not that.
employees?
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that, to be honest.
Because all of the employees that had it, like obviously had their contracts terminated. It's end. It was basically like, that's it. Like you're paid. Like that's it. You're not getting paid anymore. We're closing as a company.
Yeah.
You get no money. You get no notice period, which is kind of it becomes a bit of a problem. And I think what makes it really, difficult for them is one of the laws that's in their state is basically they have to be given X amount of notice to terminate the contract. So it kind of protects them. So it's even like a month's notice, so they're getting month's pay. But obviously they're claiming, we're closing down as a company, so we can't do that. We can't pay our employees. But then now they're going, actually, but we're still going to produce this game. We're still producing this game. We're still doing that. Because they're
Well, they're only, from what I know, they're only finishing off episode 2 of The Walking Dead because episode 1 just got published. So they've just about to finish publishing. They're just finishing off episode 2 for the new Walking Dead season.
The other way around? They're releasing episode 2.
Yeah, so it's Walking Dead season, I think 3, episode 2. It's about Clementine again, because the other Walking Dead game was a spin-off.
Yep.
So yeah, I think it's literally.
So that was not really helpful. I'm trying to Google it. I can't be bothered because it's going all over the place. Because actually searching the TV show.
Yeah, I was gonna say for Telltale, you probably find the right results on that.
Yep.
So yeah, I think episode 2. Yeah. Oh no, so it has classified. So it must be season 4 then.
So I think what it is my understanding was I thought it doesn't really matter, but
yeah,
basically they've just released another episode of one of the. I think they've just released episode 2.
Yeah, so it's season 4. They're about to, because I think episode 1 just came out.
No, episode 2's just come out. Episode 1 came out in August. Episode 2's just came out on the 25th.
Yeah, and now they're looking at someone who can take over and finish the last 2 episodes. They've actually removed an episode already, so they've kind of reduced the amount of work needed. Yeah. So basically means they've just got rid of all the waffle. I mean, this is the thing. It's like when I look at the company, I am genuinely saddened by what happened. and then I look at what the company did, and it's no fault of the designers or the
They got
the
too
people who
greedy.
actually worked on the games. Yeah, it was the producers, it was the head, the start, like the lead, the lead, like the heads off
Yeah,
basically.
so
Just
oh
put it
yeah,
that way.
we can make a game about this IP. Oh my god, look at this IP. It's Stranger Things. It's massive. Yeah, let's buy their IP for a video game.
Yeah, and this is the
Yeah,
thing. It's like they were in talks with Netflix to do a purely like a Netflix based like Telltale game. When I heard the news, it wasn't the major players in that company that I was upset about. It was the small people. It was the people who would be putting in like 12 to 20 hours a day
yeah,
on crunch time, trying to get the games out to be out on time. With people saying, there was like signs on doors that said, "Do you want to make a good game or do you want to get the game out on time?" Like that is not a way you run a company. And again, if you do look at how many IPs they were working with, it was fucking massive.
yes,
Walking Dead was the big one. Like you said, they had Stranger Things going on. They had Guardians of the Galaxy. They had Game of
yeah.
Thrones.
Because what was the game that they are contractually obligated to finish at the moment? Um,
Not too sure about that one.
there was a game when they announced it. The Minecraft game. That
Oh
was
yes,
it.
season 2 of that as well.
So basically, they
Like
said they're
you
shutting
know,
up shop, and that was the only game they were going to finish. And then I think The Walking Dead got so much popularity to finish it. So
yeah. Like again, it's like like when the Batman, yeah, they did Batman as well. Like when that came out, I wasn't interested, and I'm a fairly big
yeah,
comic nerd, and like even the Guardians of the Galaxy one, I wasn't particularly keen on that. Like I played the Walking Dead ones because they seemed interesting.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, I think like so. I played a bit. I've never really got into Telltale games.
hmm,
I've seen them. They were always on my list of like games I'll check it out and play.
hmm,
I've got the first season of Walking Dead by them with all our episodes. I've played a little bit, so I kind of know what it's about. In like their game style. So I was
hmm,
always familiar with them, and I think like obviously with this news, I learned a lot more about them. But I think where they were
hmm,
going wrong is I think from my understanding they would release an episode of a game, and then they
hmm.
would kind of work on what people have chosen and the information they gathered from that episode, how they developed the second episode.
No, it was always multiple choice,
No, but I
but it
think
would just
they
be the
no, but
percentages.
the actual development of it, there were always multiple choice. But they actually, from my understanding, is they would do like say episode one of Walking Dead, and this reason they separated it by episode is they go episode one of Walking Dead, the people that downloaded it, the choices they made, and so forth would actually affect the development of episode two. So it wasn't. So this is one of the reasons why it's not so simple for them to have three or four. Like they're not due to completion because they were waiting on certain bits to happen from the previous episode to release and develop the next episode.
No, I mean, looking at the entire life cycle of each of the Walking Dead games on the Telltale side, especially the Walking Dead ones, you could play any of them. I mean, this is the other issue I had with it. There was no long-standing decisions that you could make. So every decision had a retcon. So like if you look at, say, for instance, season 1 to season 2 of The Walking Dead, there was no massive things that would change the end of the story.
Yeah.
Um, like certain things must always happen in a Telltale game. Or well, rather, I should say, in the set cycle of the game. For instance, each episode, one major thing would happen, which would eventually, like, how you got to that decision, is based on the player's decisions. But it would be like set things would happen. So, for instance, with The Walking Dead, Lee will always die. In the end of season 1, spoilers if you haven't played it yet, but it's super old. So Lee will always die. Whether you kill Lee or whether you let Lee live as a zombie has no major, it's a major emotional decision because you've played as Lee the whole game. But overall, Lee was going to die. There is no way to save him. Like he gets bit, no way to change that. Loads of other little bits and pieces like that. But again, like they have these key decisions that have been made already for the player. It's again how you get to those decisions. That's the story. It's again like season 2 to season 3 of The Walking Dead can affect who goes with you. But by the time you meet Clementine in season 3, it doesn't matter. There's a few flashbacks. That's the only thing. So again, it's like the one thing I did enjoy about the games that when Telltale went into this kind of publishing story, was it's the adventure. It's how do you get from point A to point B? Point A and point B don't change, but how do you get there? And that's what changes. And that's where the interest was. Like people, and I think one of the things that they said was one of their downfalls was people playing their games online or streaming them. Even though they eventually became integrated with Twitch at some point with one of their games, like people could actually do joint decisions together.
Yeah.
But they said that because of that, people weren't buying our game, and it's like, well, how does that affect? Like some people would watch that and go, like I was one of them. I watched a playthrough, I think, of season 1 of The Walking Dead, and I was like, well, hang on, what happens if I made the choices that I wanted to? And then see what happened there.
Yeah.
So I think, that's how I got into them. So,
yeah, because I think one of the other things that was a bit of a downfall for Telltale is they were releasing an episode, and I don't think the episodic releases of games can be quite problematic for developers, because they release an episode,
definitely.
and I mean, if you spread, for example, 4 or 5 episodes over the space of a year, I mean, a lot of people, like me, I probably would do, and there's a lot of other people, even if you're a fan of a series, you may just wait until all 5 episodes are released.
And because that way you've ensured you got the product.
And 2, because there's normally sales on the previous episodes. Oh, great, episode 3's come out. Why don't you buy episode 1 and 2 at 75%, at 25% off? Because that's to try and attract people. Or you wait until the end and you buy it as a bundle and it's cheaper. The developer actually kind of gets a bit punished from doing that. I think that's a bit of a problem with episodic releases.
And I wouldn't mind. I don't mind people having episodic adventures, like games, but make sure the game's complete before you do it.
Yeah.
One of the biggest issues I had with Telltale was that there was no... You could tell by the end of episode 1 they were maybe on episode 3. And that was the issue I had with it, was purely because you knew it was going to get delayed somewhere along the lines.
Yeah. But I think that's what I was, like I said, I was reading, and there's a few other places that were referring to it with their development cycle. They were relying on... To develop the story was depending on how people's interest was in the story, so they were basically on their choices. So if X amount of people were choosing choice in the first game, they were like, okay, let's lead the story this way. So they're actually developing it on how people were choosing and playing the game. So they were going, okay, our fans are choosing this option. Our fans, okay, they absolutely hate this character. Why don't we work in to kill this character off in episode 3? So that's the that's the development cycle they were doing. So they were actually developing the game as you were playing it and as they were releasing it. That's why they couldn't go, okay, great. That's why they haven't done episodes 3 and 4, because they were waiting on people to play episode 2 to get the information from episode 2 of what people have chose, what people do, what people like, how people are playing it, and go, actually, this is obviously they would have developed most of episode 3, but they go, you know what, here's a couple of scenarios before we finalize the development of it. Let's wait until what people say. That's what my understanding of what Telltale were doing in the development, which is fine, but as a development company and game developer, when cash flow can be a problem, especially with episodic releases, it's very risky.
It is.
That's why I don't get why they were buying so many IPs.
Yeah, I mean, it was a risky move, and it's bit them in the ass, and now company's gone.
Yep.
Nothing we can do about it, which is I'm very unfortunate, because it was a fantastic games company for the most part. So
I think someone will buy it out. Probably buy their engine. Probably take on the interest, and go from there. I mean, someone's going to do something with it. That style of game, I don't think, is gone. Like I say, some people are interested in the Walking Dead ones. See how that goes. I think the risk of that is the problem. If you're a hardcore fan, I think the problem we've got with the Walking Dead and the continuation, great. They might see the end of the story, but the problem you got is, will you have the same writers on it? Will you have the same developers on it? Will you have the same team that's been working on it? No,
exactly.
Probably not. Unless whoever is taking over the project goes back to those developers and that team and say, look guys, we will pay you double what you are paid to produce this game. That's not going to happen, but that's the only way. And
to be fair though, if I was told hey, you worked on this project, it's now gone, I'm like, okay, fair enough. I join another games company. Another company then goes we bought the rights, we want you to come back and finish it. I would probably say yes. Purely because I started that project, I probably would want to finish it. And I think a lot of people would be in a similar mindset.
But at the same token, they'll feel burnt. They've already lost money because they wouldn't have been paid for some work they've done on the existing version.
Don't get me wrong. If it was someone if it was a company like Sega, and then I'd probably say no.
Yeah. It depends how loyal they are to it and how, like I said, like I mean they got like the employees got burnt. They just so we'll see what happens. I mean, a company like that, I hate when companies go, oh yeah, we're now bankrupt or we're now closing down. You would have seen it coming. It's not a case of it's just happened overnight. It's a case of you've seen the books, you've seen your cash flow, you've seen where money's going. Forewarn your employees. You tell them, guys, look, we are struggling. Just that kind of like we're gonna have to make cutbacks. We're gonna have to do this. But no, they were like, no, we're fine. Let's go buy this IP. We're gonna develop a game. We're gonna take Stranger Things. We're gonna do this. I mean, Netflix are already gonna take the Stranger Thing game elsewhere. They don't care. They've got enough money that they don't care. But we'll see. Like I said, it's gonna be an interesting one.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move on to some lighter news. We've just had announced the PlayStation Mini, the original PlayStation Classic,
The classics.
which looks itty bitty and it looks beautiful. And I want one, not even to play on. I just want to stick it on a shelf, which is really sad. But that is basically what I want it for because I'm not playing PlayStation 1 graphic games on a massive 32-inch screen TV.
Yeah, I am similar there. I do like the classic iterations that people have been doing of the consoles. Obviously, Nintendo have done their like NES Classic, SNES Classic, which I only recently found out people have modded, so you can just load any ROMs.
Nice.
And it's got enough. Like the NES has enough storage to have every NES game available on it. So you are playing.
Well, isn't it basically just a Raspberry Pi?
Yeah, a little bit. It is an emulator. It is just emulating the games. So, for example, this goes back to the Nintendo side with their NES app you get with Nintendo like Switch Online or Nintendo Online. It's using the same emulator as the NES Classic.
Nice.
So people have already, with the custom firmware, they've already modded that app. They've literally run the same day it was released. People were like, oh yeah, look, I can play all these games. I've got 600 games now on my Switch that I can play. It's the exact same one. Nice. And they were all like, I think there was already talks about like the NES, the SNES Classic as well was using it. Like they can look at that emulator if that goes on there. They can do the same thing because the SNES Classic also was easily modded to the point where you just plug you plug it into your PC, you run a software, bang, you've got all these 600 games on it. You can mess around with it.
I love it.
It makes me kind of want to buy one of the originals, like the SNES Classic and NES Classic, just for that. Just so I've got a HD version of the consoles, I can play it like not HD version of the games, but something I can just plug into HD TV and work. I am still building up my NES collection. I still need to get a SNES collection, but that's a different story. With the PlayStation Classic, I wonder if it's the same problem's gonna happen. Is it gonna get modded straight away? I think that's kind of cool.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, like I mean, like for me, like again, like the SNES and the NES, were like pretty big consoles in my childhood. But I think the PlayStation was kind of the first one that really made gaming essential in my life.
Yeah,
so I think for me it's more of a trophy than an actual console that I would use.
Yeah, so for me, my personal my console, the first console I really played a lot of games on was the Mega Drive. Mega Drive was my it wasn't even mine; it was my brother's. He was into games, so I ended up being his games. So consoles were all his. PlayStation was my first console. My parents made a decision. I don't know. I didn't realize this until many years later. I was told about this. My parents made a decision. Okay, basically said, my brother, what do you want? He said N64. Got him the N64, and they were like, okay, got another son. What console does he want? Oh, PlayStation. Okay, he gets PlayStation. So I got the PlayStation. He got the N64. Obviously, we still played games and still whatever. I think I ended up playing his N64 a hell of a lot. But it's still kind of that kind of choice and option.
And that's the new rumoured one, isn't it? Because they've obviously done the SNES and now they're moving on to the N64.
So I think it's a bit more than just a rumour. Because
they've copyrighted the image, haven't they?
Yeah, the logo for the N64 Classic has just been painted patented
Yeah.
or patented,
Patent. Yeah.
whatever you want to say it. Because they applied for it last year. It took a
Hmm.
year for it to get approved.
Wow.
So
That's insane.
it's not a case of they've just done it. They applied for it last year. There is rumors that they are gonna snipe Sony and go, oh yeah, a few days, a week before your release, bang, here's our N64 classic. Or
It'll be like the original console wars, the N64 versus the PlayStation,
yeah,
which would be
or they
awesome.
can go a different route and go, yeah, here's Smash, and here's our N64 classic, which also has the original Smash on it.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah,
trying to think like what would be on the N64 Classic? Because it'd be Smash, Pokemon Stadium,
maybe Pokemon Stadium. I don't know.
Ocarina of
I think
Time,
Majora's
definitely
Mask.
Ocarina of Time,
I think
Majora's
Majora's Mask.
Mask,
Yeah,
Mario
yep,
64, Star Fox,
yep.
Star Fox, the Star Fox.
Oh, you got caught. I don't. Thing is, I've never seen it as Star Fox. It's Lilac Wars to me. That's the
Oh,
game
that
in
was the
Europe.
original name. Yeah,
Or in
yeah,
Europe
Lilac
anyway. In
Wars.
America it wasn't. America it was Star Fox 64. In Europe and
Well, this was the
Australia it was Lilac
first.
Wars. They
Oh,
can.
yeah, because in America it was the first Star Fox. That's why. There was already
Uh,
Star Fox 1 on the SNES.
yeah, and I
It just
mean,
never hit America, I
yeah.
think.
So it was like I said, it was Lilac Wars over here. I can't remember the reason
Hmm.
why. I think it was some copyright issues that they couldn't actually call it that for some reason.
Yeah,
Um,
probably because of Star Wars.
then why would I don't know why they couldn't do it in America, but they could. It was something weird about it being in the Europe.
Yeah.
Um,
Tell you what, this is like the biggest thing. Were the characters in the version you played, did they speak gobbledygook or did they speak English?
um, the version
'Cause
I
that's like a,
played,
yeah. 'Cause
I
that
can't.
shows how old the copy of your game was. Because there was
Yeah,
some that was like do 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 do, and then other times they actually spoke in English.
no,
It
I
depended on
think
the
it was
copy of the game.
it was all gobbledygook. They said they had the odd things in English. I think
Hmm.
I can't remember.
I don't know where that difference came from. I think it's the American version versus the European version. But I need to
Maybe.
look into it. It literally is because there was one like I used to watch videos of it online on like YouTube when I first. This is
Yeah,
way back when. They'd be like, "Okay, I'm gonna play some Star Fox." Like, "Oh my god, they're speaking gobbledygook," and then I watch online like, "They're speaking English? Like, what is this?
yeah.
Where is this
I
difference coming
think
from?"
it was gobbledygook, but I do remember some like them say they had certain audio bits.
Yeah,
So I can't remember.
there is a version of the game that came out where they did speak like traditional English. Like the whole game was in English, and like the version I played on the N64 was like gobbledygook.
Yeah.
That was like one of the weirdest things for me. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, talking about
so,
classics, did you see that there SNK also released a mini console? Their
oh my god, what did you in
SNK
SNK?
SNK Arcade I think it was what did they call it? SNK Classic? Did they call it?
This is like a Sega thing, isn't it?
Huh?
This is a Sega thing.
I know SNK is their own company. So
I've never heard of
SNK,
SNK. This is why.
they're Neo Geo. So SNK make a lot of the
Oh,
fighting games. So,
hmm.
but they released the SNK Neo Geo Mini. So it's like a little mini arcade machine, but you can get controllers for it to plug in, and it's also a HDMI out. But
Oh,
again,
nice.
it's another like it's the whole idea of these old consoles just being remade. I think I don't think this would have been a massive thing if like there was a way of connecting these consoles to modern TVs without them looking like garbage.
Hmm.
But the fact they look like the fact you plug in an old console that was designed to use with a CRT and it looks like garbage is the reason like they're releasing these consoles. I mean, look, yeah. So
No,
it's Metal Slug, King of Fighters. I think it was a bunch of fighting games. SNK are massive for fighting games, like the
yeah.
classic beat 'em ups. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, so again, another one. They're doing the whole console remake.
It's insane.
I
Like,
wonder if Sega's going to do it.
yeah, I could see the Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive can make a comeback like that.
Yeah, but
Like,
I think the problem is I think they had a licensed version a little while ago. I think the biggest problem at the moment is the emulators for like the Mega Drive and the Saturn and the Genesis. They're just garbage. They just don't run the games very well. There's loads of problems with them, loads of bugs. If you're gonna release a product like this, it needs to be pretty good.
yeah, no, definitely.
So maybe Sega might go, oh great, we'll actually do something. I don't know. We'll see. It'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be so strange because they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I can buy the console that my family used to use and spent like 350 quid on
Yeah,
for like 80 quid and play the games that they used to." Versus like, "Oh, I can play." Like, can you imagine in like 20 years' time when you have your own kid? It's like, "Oh, here's a PS4 classic, this tiny little thing."
I don't
You
know.
know?
I think I don't even think consoles will be a thing by then. I think it's gonna be more as this hot as a lot of the tech industry is going, IT industry is going. It's more like as a service. Um,
Hmm.
it's gonna be
Yeah,
cloud. It's
probably.
gonna be just stream it. You're not gonna have a console. You're not gonna have hardware physically there,
Yeah.
because internet's getting faster, connectivity's getting faster. It's just they're just gonna, oh, you can just stream it. You don't need you
Hmm.
don't need the physical hardware anymore.
Here you go, Sonny Jim. Take my glasses and play on the PS4.
What? Oh, is that 1080p? Oh, it's got 4K. Oh, how cute.
Yeah, like, exactly. Like when you're being blasted in your retinas by like an Oculus Rift,
It's,
at like 8K. That's when you know you've hit
yeah.
a weird
So
moment.
yeah.
But
So
anyway, there
yeah.
has been some groundbreaking news in regards to the consoles we've been talking about, in the fact that it looks like Sony have maybe announced crossplay with both Xbox and Nintendo,
And
which looks
PC.
pretty interesting. And PC, yeah. So it looks like they've relaxed a little bit about saying, no, we will not work with the others. And they're saying, we'll give it a shot with Fortnite, because of course they're going to do it with Fortnite.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where it goes. I mean, at the moment, it's purely. I think it's just
It's a
been
beta.
announced.
Yeah. I think it's in beta phase at the moment.
Yeah, like
Um.
I've seen a few headlines. I haven't actually read the articles,
Yeah. I
unfortunately.
think. I think
But yeah.
with that one with Fortnite, I think the biggest controversy with it was if you logged into your Epic account on the PlayStation with Fortnite on PlayStation 4, it locked your
Hmm.
account.
Oh wow.
So your account you could only use on PlayStation.
Hmm.
So if you wanted to go on the Switch, you wanted to go on PC, you wanted to go on the Xbox, you'd have to have a different account.
Wow. That's insane.
Whereas the other consoles, you're like, yeah, you can just, it's fine. You can log in on here, it's fine.
Hmm.
Whereas Sony was like, no, like it locks the account and that's it. You can only use this account on, like, it was kind of stupid. So, and that's
Yeah.
obviously kind of stirred up the community as well because of stuff like that. Because people would have, and people didn't know about it. It wasn't clear, it wasn't obvious. People logged into it on the PlayStation, think great. Oh yeah, let
Hmm.
me play it on the PC. I want to try it out on the PC. Go to log in. Oh, what? My account's locked. I can't play on somewhere else.
Hmm.
Jump on their Xbox. Jump on the Switch. People would have found it like people pick up the Switch. Go, yeah, let's try Fortnite. What? My account's locked. Why can't I use my account? Um, so I think that kind of caused a bit of a problem.
Yeah, I can imagine so. But
But
yeah,
it's
no,
it's
it'll be.
interesting that they're finally releasing up. I mean, it's not the first time they've done cross-platform play anyway. They had that whole bit a while ago with like Steam. Some games
Oh yeah,
that had cross-platform play between PlayStation
Sony and
and
Steam.
yeah, Sony and Steam. Like, so it's not the first time. It's just it's getting there. It's not going to be long until
Yeah.
whatever platform, depending on the game. It doesn't matter what
Yeah.
platform you're playing, you'll be able to play against anyone on any console or system.
Which is nice. You know, again, I'm happy for the consoles to have their own exclusives, but to not be able to play with your friends when you both own the same game has always been the bane of my life.
Yeah,
You know, especially because I've usually been PS4 and all my friends are on Xbox.
yeah.
Uh,
And you're like, oh god, you have to buy it. Like Call of Duty. The amount of people I know that have actually just moved consoles because they've gone. All right, I've always had an Xbox. My friends have always had PlayStation. We like to play. We want to play Call of Duty together, but they're like, or FIFA, or whatever. They've gone, okay.
hmm,
Let me just sell my console, buy the other platform, and just play it on that. And
yeah,
they've actually shifted the whole platforms just because of games like that.
yeah, and it happens all the time. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here.
Yeah,
You know, hopefully it buds into something fun. And we see where we go from here. To be
yeah,
honest. I mean, I think we've done a fairly good catch up of the news. I'm good to go.
yeah,
Are you, Patrick? Yeah.
yeah,
There was
yeah,
a few other things that we did want to cover, but I think because we were covering for 2 weeks, we'll cover the last few bits and pieces next week because I don't think they're going to go anywhere.
yeah.
Uh, so, but Yeah, it's been fun to talk to you,
Yeah,
Ki
I
Kumo.
can't believe we've been talking for over an hour already. Like,
I
it's gone
know.
through like that. It's just so quick.
I know.
Um,
So just as a point of reference, we do aim for our
yeah,
episodes.
I mean,
We overshoot like insanely. Like I think yeah, last week's episode was like an hour and a half.
that's fine.
But yeah,
Like I said, I think an hour's you aim for that hour mark. If we run over a little bit, we're just about to hit an hour 15. It's fine.
oh shit. Yeah. So
It's not the end of the world.
yeah,
So anyway,
yeah. So if you want to find out what else we were going to talk about, find out in next week's episode.
dun dun dun, jazz hands.
Yeah, just so we'll thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Peace out, guys.